Hello and welcome back to the Under 18 Atlantic Curling Championships here in Montague, PEI at the Montague Curling Club. We have another great game going on here in draw number 4 action this afternoon. It's a bit of a rainy afternoon here in PEI, but we're going to be having the host PEI squad coming from Summerside going against Nova Scotia's team. This is pretty much a game that will decide who gets to advance to the gold medal game tomorrow and who's got to kind of wait for the other teams. So we're seeing Nova Scotia coming in with a 2-0 record coming into this match, while the McFadden squad, the host team, is coming in with a 2-1 record. So see who will be able to improve on that, as Nova Scotia will be in the dark blue jackets with the white trim with the Yellowstones and the hammer, as we're going to be seeing the opening shot here from Alec Cameron. Just going to look to remove it, get a little familiar with the ice. Able to get the takeout right there. And we're going to be seeing now the lead, Parker McFadden, coming in here to remove the Yellowstone. As you normally see in the first hand, just quick removal back and forth of the stones. Get familiar with the ice here on sheet number 3. The McFadden squad, the host team, has not played on this ice yet. Nova Scotia did play their first draw in here, so they might be a little bit more familiar than the PEI squad, as they able to peel away the stone, and it gets an opportunity now for Cameron to draw into the house. And instead, they're going to choose to put up a corner guard here to see if they can set themselves up to draw in behind. Cameron trying to set up that corner guard. We've seen it really start to break after the center line. Seems to be sitting pretty well. A little bit on the hotter side. Might find itself in the rings. And it is gonna get a piece of the 12-foot, so it will be accessible now for McDonald here, Matt McDonald, to try and remove. They curl out of the Silver Fox Curling Club in Summerside, trying to see if they can earn their place into the finals tomorrow. This one looks to hit the shooter. The shooter will roll out to the outside. And we'll have a clean house once again. It's a great opportunity here for Nova Scotia to get really familiar with the weight that they require for their game, forcing the PEI team to really do a lot of takeouts and not get that draw weight down. So we're going to be seeing Ryan Abraham step into the hack. The reason they're going to the right side, it's a little bit harder to do the takeouts on the right side of the ice just because of how straight it has been throughout this tournament. And Nova Scotia haven't played a full game on this ice already, a little bit more familiar with it, and hoping for a mistake coming on that right side. As a perfect corner guard set up there by Ryan. Reminder, both teams do have the 30 minutes of thinking time each, as well as 2 timeouts. They will play 8 ends in this match. Now it's just going to go for the removal of the guard, just peel it away. We'll hit it and roll. It keeps the shooter around. So let's see if Nova Scotia will choose to draw him behind the guard, and looks to be that will be the call. So with the one guard finally up there for Nova Scotia, they're going to try and see if they can put some pressure on the PEI team. Right out of his hand. Must really be breaking. This one looks a little light too. And that's going to go right onto the guard. So the sweepers will just lay it off. Let it come right on top, but a little bit light coming out of the hands of Abraham. And we'll see now, will the host team try and draw him behind? We have 3 other games going on, of course, and draw number 4 action. On sheet number 1, Newfoundland's going against New Brunswick in the women's side. And on sheet number 4, we're seeing the same, but with the men's. And on sheet number 2, the host PEI team will be going against Nova Scotia. In women's action, you can catch that with Brett Poirier over on Bellline Community 1. You can switch that over to sheet 2 if you want to watch that game. Trying to get that one around the guard. Just going to get a piece of it. And we'll roll into Mike. Get a piece just outside the rings. Can't seem to get in there. But it's really starting to break at the center line, and both teams might have to. We're seeing right here the first move from Manuel here, trying to take a little bit more ice on the draw attempt. Trying to get it around behind the guards. This one's going to be really close. Hard sweep. They are able to get it by. Great decision on the brush. Trying to get it buried. And maybe could got a nice buried. Can maybe see a quarter of the rock still. But it's nicely buried, and it's going to be very difficult for Dalton to try and remove. Asking for T-line weight. They're going to try and draw in behind that now. Really hard right out of his hand. Can they keep the line here? It's really starting to break quickly again. Maybe try to raise their guard if they can. Gonna take a little bit of a bump. And one of their stones will roll into the rings. The other one will roll just above it. But the shot stone will still remain Nova Scotia. I'll leave it an open takeout here for Zachernuk. He's going to try and go with the open takeout on the redstone in the rings. A little bit of a control way here, but right out of his hand. A little bit of a sweep. Want to get a little bit of an inside roll if they can. They're on the inside. Now let's see where they get the roll. Bumps their stone over a little bit, but nice little roll in there. Gets it buried. And this is going to be a little bit difficult now for the host PEI team. Try and clear up some of this mess that Nova Scotia is giving them. Sitting 2 right now with the hammer. We're going to see what Alex McFadden can do to try and limit the damage here and maybe try and force Nova Scotia to a single if possible. Looks like they're going to go for the takeout here. First shot for the skip. Not much of a handle on it. Sticking to the center line. Now they're getting on it. Move one, get a little bit of a roll. Roll on top of the yellow stone. But he is able to remove one of the yellow stones at least. So there's going to be still sitting 1 for Nova Scotia. And I won't be surprised if they're going to just try and draw in behind that central guard and try and sit 2. Nova Scotia's going to try to come down the left side. All the rocks are on the right side of the sheet right now. Try and get in behind. Try to get it buried. Taking their time in the hack. Hard on the sweep right out of the hand. This one, Polly's looks like it's coming up light. Try and see how far can they take it. Sweeper's doing a great job doing whatever they can, but it's just going to take a little bit off the guard. Sweeper's doing whatever they could to keep the line. They just didn't have enough on that. Does give an opportunity here if they choose to maybe raise back their center guard into the button to try and set one. Try and draw in themselves. That's another option. But what it's looking like, it looks like they are just calling the bump back on their own red stone. Sean maybe just throw back 4, back 8 weight. Just trying to get the little bit of bump back to knock it into a good position. It's got to be accurate more than anything. Sweep right out of his hand. Still got to get over the center line. Starting to break right now, and they're getting on it. Don't want to lose it. There's the raise. Was it a little too heavy? They're going to try and bring it back, and it will sit for Shotstone. Great raise there from the host PEI team. And they're sitting 1 right now with Nova Scotia with the final shot here. And I think they might, with how well that last shot has been played, they might be forced to do a raise of their own. Or if they choose to maybe try and draw it for a single, but it'd be a tough draw. So it looks like they might try and do the raise as well. Matt Manuel here, the skip of this Nova Scotia men's team. Competed at the Canada Games with this squad, coming from the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax. So they're no stranger to being in situations like this. Final shot here in this first end. A lot of weight being thrown in here. Looks like they're going for the takeout. Let's see where the angle 1 gets a piece of it, and it gets it enough. And it would be the single for Nova Scotia. At the end of the first end here at the Under-18 Atlantic Curling Championships here at the Montague Curling Club, Nova Scotia is able to get their single in the first end, and they'll lead the host PEI team 1-0. Here on sheet number 3, should be a very tight game between these two. And looking over on sheet number 2 in the women's action, looks like Nova Scotia was able to pick up 3 against the host PEI team, and they lead 3-0. But Manuel had to come with a big shot in there, able to raise it, able to get that one single, avoid the damage there. McFadden's amazing raise earlier. So the skip's really showing why they are the top teams right now in this spiel. Let me see Cameron just setting up that central guard. Gets it right on there. Perfect central guard played in by Cameron. Yeah, he's just going to look to respond with Parker McFadden. He's just going to place that corner guard. So we could be seeing a lot of rocks in play this end here with the setups of these guards. We'll see how this end plans out. On sheet number 2, New Brunswick was able to pick up their deuce against Newfoundland. They lead 2-0 over on sheet number 4 in men's action. New Brunswick is 1-1, so both these teams are very interested to see how this game right here will go, who will win this one. And that corner guard goes a little bit too far. Once he realized it was going in the rings, try to carry it as far back as he could. And we'll see if it was going to be a little bit too difficult here for Cameron. See if he's going to be able to get this takeout. Hard on the sweep here, trying to keep the line. It's really starting to go. Do they still have it? We'll get on the outside. Great job by the sweepers, able to hold it on. And we'll spill away the shooter as well. So we'll see another corner guard. We'll see now with the host PEI team setting up here, trying to set up their end. A little bit heavy on the last one was Parker. He's going to try and throw a little bit lighter here. This one much lighter coming out of his hand. He's got to curl a little bit more. Should be all there. Maybe a little bit of a finish. And a nice rebound there by Parker. Sets up the perfect corner guard, what they would like. Looking for Abraham here. He's going to try and draw in behind that yellow guard. Try and get it buried and make it difficult to force PEI to start removing some of these guards. Staying close to it. Must be close. They're just waiting for the break. Weight seems to be good. Just needs to curl a little more, and then they're going to start getting on it. Couldn't get it completely around, but I think they were waiting more for the curl than the weight there. Looks like the sweepers wanted to jump on it for the weight, but Manuel wanted to curl just a little bit more. Try to get it buried, but this one still will be sticking out. Looks like 3/4 of the stone is sticking out right now for McDonald to try and remove. He's going to try and do a hit and roll if he can. A little bit of a clean right now. They want to get on the inside of the rock. Nice little control weight here. Hits the nose. And now we're going to see Nova Scotia. They're going to try and do the exact same shot. They're going to try and get on the inside of this stone, though, this time. So we'll start to see this game here until that rock does get removed or someone does get the roll in. If we keep seeing nose, we're just going to keep seeing this over and over. They want to get it. Staying close to it. This one's looking really good. Now they're getting on it. Let's see where the roll goes. And a nice little roll there, and that's all they needed. Great shot there for Nova Scotia. Fadgen's taking a look now. How much can they see? And looks like they might be trying to maybe peel away the top guard. Clear up the middle. Looks like with that hammer, the PEI team will look to open up that middle of the ice. Hard on the sweep here. It's going to run back. Move one. Get enough to get the second. And it looks like him just out of the rings. Great throw in there from McDonald. Able to get the run back with the double. Clear it out in the rings. Open house now, but Nova Scotia, with the shooter still there, will try and drive right back in around and continue the pressure. Staying close on this one. Weight seems a little bit up right now. But it's starting to come down. Looks like it might just go just behind the tee line. Very nice stone, very nicely buried. Just a little bit, tiny bit heavy than Nova Scotia would have liked, but great line there. And PEI is gonna try and do the same, but keep this one above the tee line. Update over on sheet number 1. New Brunswick was able to pick up 6 in the first stand against Newfoundland in the women's action. And they lead 6-0 over Newfoundland. But a great draw thrown in right here. You can put a feather in between the two red stones and just squeaks in through and gets it very nicely buried for the shot stone. Nova Scotia's going to use this opportunity to try and freeze right up to it, force this PEI team to get a single. Or if they can, come in and bump it back a little if they can. If they can force PEI to 1, they're happy. This one looks a little bit hot right now. Staying close, another waiting for the break, and it's really starting to break. Coming in, try to get right up to it. Freeze, no bump. And wow, couldn't put a freeze better than that. Right up to the face. And that's going to make it quite difficult now for PEI to try and pick up 2 here. This PEI team, huge fans of the Pat Simmons team. Obviously, with their reign competing right now at the World Men's Curling Championships right now in Halifax. I believe the Nova Scotian team even got an opportunity to go to Halifax and watch a couple of the draws themselves. This one looks like it's just going to take a little bump, separate the stones just a little bit, and it's going to roll into the left side. It's going to provide an interesting aspect now. Nova Scotia take a look at, because that stone is sticking out a little bit on the left side. Maybe if they can hit and bump some stuff over, they could go for a shot stone here. But they're worried if it hits off the red, it might bump their own yellow stone over. So they're taking a look at should they just bump their yellow into the red or just get the inside. Taking a look at the different angles here that it could take. They're going to chat this one out with the rest of the team because they want to make sure they avoid the jam here. A great throw there, but from Dalton. It's going to make things a little bit confusing here. Looks like they're going to go for hitting it off the red stone. Red to red if they can get the right angles. So it's going to have to be really tight. Just hitting maybe on just the side of that red stone if they want to angle it onto the other red. It's very likely you hit it, roll in between that hole between the red and the yellow. So this has got to be precise. Hard on the sweep here is the Nova Scotia men's team. Little plan B here, maybe hit off the yellow. Moves some stone, bumps it back. And I think it's enough for Nova Scotia to sit 1 right now, maybe 2. Looks like Nova Scotia's in 2 right now. Nice little bump back. But as there is the option for the removal of both yellow stones. But with that red run right there, it does provide an option for a jam. So things a little bit complicated here for this host team. Taking a look at which way should they come in. Can come in through the right side, just bump back the yellow one. They're going to come in and attack through the left. Try and move both yellow if they can and avoid hitting their own red stone. Just because if all three does clear up, there is that one yellow stone in the back 8 foot that could provide some problems later on. We got a quick game going over on sheet number 2. Looks like the host PEI team picked up a deuce in their second end, so they're now down 3-2 to Nova Scotia over in the women's action. This one looks like it would just hit right on the nose. It'll bump it straight back, so Nova Scotia probably will look to just replace that one redstone that was just thrown. Or they're trying to think, should they come in and bump their yellow back into the red through the right side? They're noticing that the red could be raised onto the button. And if their yellow one does get peeled out, though, it would be 2 for the host PEI team, so looks like they're going to try and close up that right side. They're going to try and force the raise from PEI. Because it's got to be a very precise raise. It's got to be a slight bump. So it's a more difficult shot. So a smart call here coming from Nova Scotia. Nice little clean coming out of their hands right now. We've noticed on this right side, it comes very straight, and right now it's just not curling. Starting to go right now and trying to close that hole. Got to take it as far as they can. Little finish right there. Might be enough to close it out, but there's still a tiny port right there. And we're going to see, can McFadden get through that port if he so chooses, or is he going to try and do the race? Because if he tries to go through the port and he misses, he could give up 1, maybe 2 even. Well, 1 at most. And if he tries the raise, he would still give up the 1 if he doesn't make it. So it's a very difficult shot, either one he chooses to do. Looks like they might be going for the port right here. Trying to get through the port and eliminate the yellow stone seems to be the call. This one's got to be precise and it's going to be close. We've seen this run very straight. It's running very straight right now and does not seem to be curling. And that's going to bump off some stones. So it's going to be a steal of 1 for Nova Scotia here in the second end. Just the right side it's been so straight this entire tournament, and that just did not want to curl at all. And Nova Scotia will take the lead 2-0 here against the host PEI team here at the Under-18 Atlantic Curling Championships here at the Montague Curling Club in Montague, PEI. Thank you all for joining us here on Beltline Community 1, your local leader in sports webcasting in Atlantic Canada. We'll have the first shot once again here in this third end. We're going to look to Cameron here to start off the end as per usual. We'll see if they're choosing to get the rocks in the rings or set up a central guard. We'll see how they want to play this. Right out of his hand, though. Really needs to be carried. Manuel's even jumping on this one. And they'll get a great sweeping right there, and they'll get that central guard they needed, but some hard sweeping needed to be done from the Nova Scotian sweepers. Great hustle. That'll be Parker McFadden with his. He's going to try, looks like, might try to just draw around and try to get some rocks in the rings right away for the PEI team. A little bit of a light clean here, starting to dive towards the guard. This is going to be close. Looks like they're by. Just by. And get it very nicely buried. Great throw played in there from Parker. And right away, they notice they got to move away their own guard to get to that red zone. That was just a perfect draw. Sneaks right in behind the guard. Getting hard on it now. Get a piece, knock it over. And we'll spill away the shooter to the outside and we'll knock it out. So we'll have a clear, open top middle. Now Nova Scotia looks like they're going to try and just force for a blank here. Try to remove as many of the stones. After that very nice shot from Parker, he's going to try and see if he can guard his own stone now. Coming right here with a little finish. And wow, just might have curled the tiniest bit too much at the end. And it looks like a quarter of it might be sticking out here for Abraham now. And they're going to try and remove that redstone in the house. But it looked really good on the guard there from McFadden. Just that little tiny finish might be enough for Nova Scotia to access it. Trying to get through by the guard, no problems. We'll get the hit. A little bit of a roll over to the left side. Keep it away from the guard. And Abrahams is able to do it. We're look to McDonald here to now do that hit and roll and try to get back to where they were behind that guard. Like clean right now. They want to get on the inside. Make sure they are on the inside. Looks to be good. This did way too much. And that one just squeaked through. They waited a little too long there. And that one was just got a piece of yellow and squeaked in right through the house. Jumped a little bit too late on the curl. And now gives the Nova Scotia an opportunity to clear away this red guard that's been causing them problems. Able to get it, just goes over their own shot. Normally on that peel weight, if you just get enough of it, that usually is enough to remove a stone. But if you do miss it on peel weight, there's no way it's ever coming back. So it's got to be right on, or it's not going to happen. Like clean right now. We're gonna start to see those removal of the stones. Hit and get a little bit of a roll over to the outside. And a nicely placed roll, trying to make it as difficult as they can for Nova Scotia. This one's hanging a bit on the outside. Can it cut back in? And it looks like might just hit right on the nose. Might roll out yet. Just couldn't get back in. A little bit outside on the broom. And we'll have a clear house wide open here for Dalton. And he's going to try and draw into the rings on the outside. Rather hands might be a little bit on the hotter side. They want it to curl much more to the side. Waiting for it to go. Starting to break out. They realized it was just going to be really light. Didn't want to sweep it. And it's just going to be a corner guard here for Nova Scotia to try and remove. Comes that Chernock here. With his second. So right on just enough. And the shooter will roll out. So back and forth. Takeout game's going to be going. We're well on our way to a blank end here. Unless there is a missed opportunity. Update over on sheet number 4. New Brunswick was able to pick up a steal of 3 against Newfoundland. They lead 5-0 over Newfoundland over and the men's action on sheet number 4. Dalton on his second. It's going to be swept. This one's coming up really light. Fadian's having it come up to give an extra hand. They want to get this one over the hog line. That one just makes it over the line. Some great sweeping coming in there from the PEI boys. Just get it over there. And we'll see the first timeout being called in this game here for Nova Scotia. They're about to play the removal and the peel on that guard. Ready guard. Coach of Nova Scotia, Stu Cameron, not happy with that call. Maybe might be looking at drawing in behind that red guard. Reminder that there will be one more draw tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Draw number 5 action. We're going to be having PEI against Newfoundland in the women's action here on sheet number 3. And then the championship match will follow at 1 p.m. So make sure to join us here on Bellline Community 1. This looks like the draw probably was the most preferred call in manual. He does get the broom down. Asks Abraham to get the broom down for the draw. Probably the thought process was the red guard is not influencing you guys at all. It's all over on the side. Try to get around it. Trying to draw up to the side. Does this one have enough weight to it? Hard sweeping coming in here and will just get enough and a piece of the 12-foot. Good hustle brought out here from the sweepers, able to get it to the 12-foot. And it looks like McFadden's going to try and draw in himself. He's going to ignore that yellow shot for now. Over on sheet number 2 in the women's action, there was this pickup of 2 more points as Nova Scotia will extend their lead over the host PEI squad in the women's action 5-2. Over on sheet number 2. And on sheet number 1, looks like Newfoundland was able to pick up a single in 2. They are now down 6-1 to New Brunswick over on sheet number 1 in the women's action. Trying to get this one. This one's coming up a little bit hot. Just going to let it settle down. And it'll be a takeout here for Manuel to try and sit 2. Force the host PI team to just a single if they can. That was the reason why, once it got up to T-line, they chose not to sweep at it, just because they realized if it keep it more open, keep it more in the middle, so it's more accessible for them to hit. Starting to get on the sweep right now. This one's really starting to curl. Looks like it's going to go on the outside of the rock. A little bit of a roll. And nice roll in behind. Not trying to see, is it completely buried? And it might be enough, and looks like they're going to try and just draw up for a single. Use the Yellowstone as backing to pick up their single. Alex McFadden, the skip of this host PEI team, coming from Summerside. Trying to draw against 2 Nova Scotian Stones, down by 2. He needs a piece of the 4-foot. Getting close to it. This has some weight to it, and it really needs to curl. Might be too much. We'll see where it ends up. Gets a piece, and it will roll back. Where does it end up? Oh, this is close. Taking a look at it right now. Very close between the yellow and the red stones. Looks like they are asking for a measurement here between the 2. It's very close. It's difficult to tell from the angles we have from the overhead. We'll have to wait and see. Got it on the yellow, bring it over to the red, let's see. And it is the one red stone. So they were able to hold it just barely. And the host PEI team will get on the board here. They're down now 2-1 against Nova Scotia here at the under 18 Atlantic Curling Championships here at the Montague Curling Club in PEI. Great tight game between these two teams. Nova Scotia coming in with a 2-0 record. McFadden. So this will influence the standings quite a bit on the result of this game. Nova Scotia will get the hammer back now in this end. We're going to have to see Parker McFadden start out this end for the PEI team. Light coming out of his hand is the indication from his sweepers. Really having to be taken. Does it have enough? I don't think this one has enough to make it over the line. That will come up just short on the guard. And not the start that PEI wanted to start the fourth end. The leads really set the tone for the rest of the end. But for the way Parker has been playing, he's been doing very well rebounding. He's kind of been on and off, so we'll see how he rebounds on the second shot. It really determines what kind of mental game he's on right now. And Nova Scotia is going to look to replace it with the corner. Sets up a nice corner guard. Might be a little bit deeper than they would have liked, but almost near good. And Parker will get a second chance to set up that central guard. Jason to go at it again. This one looks like it's all there, though. Might need to curl just a tiny bit more, but it's all there. And that's a good way to rebound after that last shot. Very tight guard. That's exactly what you wanted. And a great rebound from the PEI lead. See now with Cameron with his second. Going to try and draw in between the port and get his one hidden behind his own yellow guard. Hard coming out of his hand, though. This one's really curling. I want to make sure that that they're by. They're by. Now get on it. Now get on it. How far? Can I get it buried? And about half the stone will get buried. Just a little bit more oomph was all Cameron would have needed. But it's still a good stone. He's got the weight down, though. And that's more difficult, I would say, than figuring out the line. We'll look to McDonald here, trying to remove that yellow stone that was just thrown. This one's going straight towards the guard right now. See what kind of rolls can they get. Rolls right on top of their own central guard. So we have two red central guards right on top of each other. So see if Nova Scotia will choose to remove these two red stones or set up another guard. And we all look to peel away those two red stones on top. Hard on the sweep here, very heavy weight, trying to remove both red stones. Moves one, spills a shooter over, and that's exactly what he wanted from a peel. Great heavy weight there thrown by Abraham. Opens up the middle of the ice, especially that's what you want to do with a hammer. Trying to get up to that yellow stone again is McDonald on his second try. We've again seen it very straight here, so he's throwing a very nice control way here. Not too heavy, just to avoid losing, and he'll get right onto the nose and replace it. Now we're going right back to the hitting game here. Between these two teams, we haven't been able to see many rocks in play. It's just usually if someone comes up with a mistake, that's the only time the rocks do happen. Both of them like to keep everything wide open. Hard on the sweep here. They want to get that little bit of roll. Want to hang around, though. And just enough, and they'll still hang around, just biting the 12. And those ones are always interesting because you want to ignore them, but you know that they're going to bug you later in the end. The thing, looking at maybe run back the red into the yellow. Seems to be the call they're looking at right now. Red onto yellow. A very wide run back here. Going to be very difficult. If he does knock away his own guards, not terrible either. A lot of weight coming in here. Runs back. No problem right there. He gets the run back. Nice little pirouette on the finish as well. And this is going to be quite interesting. Normally you don't see this type of play coming on the outside. And Nova Scotia is going to try and draw up to the redstone, it looks like. Just come up to it very nicely. Just bump it back. So try and come right up into the redstone. Bump it back if they can. Over on sheet number 1 in the women's action, looks like New Brunswick was able to pick up a few more, and they will extend their lead against Newfoundland in the women's action on sheet 1. This one's going to be close. Just needs to curl a little bit more. Will they get a piece? So get a piece is enough, and just not enough. And the shooter will spill out of the rings too. Just a little bit more curl was needed there, and just couldn't hold on to it. Good try right there. And PEI will use this opportunity to split the rings now. Bring it over to the other side of the house now, but this one seems to be light. McFadden's coming in to give him an extra hand. Want to just at least get a piece of the paint. Will he get it? It's getting me close. Just comes up a tiny bit short. And a missed opportunity there for PEI, because with it being light, it gives a chance now for Nova Scotia to do a much simpler draw than going over to the outside. Right out of his hand. Staying hard on this one. It's really starting to dive. This one, it's going to be close. And it's going to hit the guard, though. And the guard will get knocked into the paint. This will change the end now for PEI. Sitting 2 right now. Trying to figure out where they should place their third. Nova Scotia does have the hammer, however. Reminder, after this end, we will have a couple-minute break. Give an opportunity for the coaches to talk with their players, strategize, and figure out what they should do in the second half to improve their game. We're on skip stones now. Be the skip Alex McFadden trying to get in through. Looks like they're going to maybe bump back their own redstone. Enough, they'll bump it back just the tiniest bit. It'll be decision time for Nova Scotia. Do they want to deal with that one on the outside or attack the two in the middle, trying to figure out how? So I do a hit and maybe get the second one to roll over closer to the other redstone so they can attack both of them later. Well, the most important thing is just clear up the middle here and just open up the middle enough that you're still able to get your single. Coming with a lot of weight here is Matthew Manuel. One, two, trying to get it over. And we'll at least get it on the outside, but makes that third one much more difficult to get to. So it looks like Nova Scotia might be forced to get a single here if McFadden can bury his redstone very nicely. Final stone for this PEI team going from Summerside. On it, staying close to it, getting ready to get on it. Do not want to come up light here. This one will go just enough. Yeah, we'll go for the shot stone, but Nova Scotia will be forced to draw for the single here. Just needs a piece of the 8-foot, though, to pick up their single and go into the break up by 1. He's trying against 2, though. Over on sheet number 2 in the women's action, looks like the host PEI team was able to pick up 2 more, and they're down 5-4 now to Nova Scotia. The women's action. Final shot here in end number 4. Needs a piece of the 8. Not the best indication that the sweeper's trying to get on it. This looks okay. And this will be fine. No problems there. Skip leaving it up for the sweepers, just throwing it out there, let the sweepers take it, and that's exactly what he did. And they're able to pick up the single here in 4. And they're going to go into the break here at the Under-18 Curling Championships in Montague, leading 3-1 over the host PEI team. We're going to take a couple-minute break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in just a few moments. Hello and welcome back to the Curling Under-18 Atlantic Championships here at Montague Curling Club in Montague, PEI here. We're in draw number 4 action here on day 2. Be the final game for this draw. Make sure you tune in with us again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here on Bellline Community 1, your local leader in sports webcasting in Atlantic Canada. We have a doozy of a game here. Very tight game between two teams as Nova Scotia, coming from the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax, going against the host PEI team coming from the Silver Fox Curling Club in Summerside. It is 3-1 for Nova Scotia, just a bunch of singles so far, 3 singles. The steal of 1 really been the difference right now for Nova Scotia in this game. As Nova Scotia will be shooting first with Cameron with the Yellowstones blue shirts. Will be setting his first stone right into the rings. A little bit hot, though. And Will McFadden sweep this one all the way through, and it's going to hang around in the back 12. What was he now? Parker McFadden, the lead on this host PI team. He's going to throw his first. Setting up that corner. This one will find itself, though, into the rings. And I won't be surprised if Nova Scotia tries to remove that red stone and roll over to cover their own. Hard as soon as he lets this one go. They're on the inside. Now where's it going to roll? Didn't get much of one, though. And it will sit. 4. Nova Scotia sitting 2 now. So it looks like they're going to ask McFadden's going to ask Parker McFadden. Remove that higher Yellowstone, the one on the top 12. And roll over. No indication yet from the sweepers. Might be a bit outside. Will it curl back in? And just going to fly by. Parker was a little outside when he let it go and just could not find a way back inside. Leaves an opportunity here for Abraham, trying to set that guard up in the middle. He wouldn't even mind it if it was even in the rings as well. So it happens usually the leads really set the tone in the end right now. 2 Yellowstones already, trying to see if they can add a third. And PEI is going to really have to be on the defensive here to shut this down. Ram shot will find itself into the rings. Would have liked it to curl a little bit more. So it does leave an attempt here for a double for McDonald. If he hits it on the right angle. This is Matthew McDonald. Hard on this red as soon as he lets it go. Not throwing higher weight. Wants to be able to control it. Get the nose, just gets a piece of the back one, but the back one will just hang around in the back 12. Not enough of the angle. Enough. And it will just be just the one redstone in, which Abraham will likely just remove right on the nose to sit 3 once again. Both teams doing pretty well on the time. Both of them still have above half the time remaining. No worries there. Nova Scotia has used one of their 2 timeouts so far in the first half, while the PI team still has both of theirs. Coming right on to the nose. No problem there for Abraham. He'll replace the redstone. Does jam against the back yellow, though. And it does enough to remove it. So instead of 3, it looks like it is 2. McDonald's coming in once again. Trying to get that hit and roll if he can. This one will just find itself on the nose and it's just going to clear its way in through. So with that red one outside the rings now, we'll see how Nova Scotia chooses to attack it. Setchernuk is going to look to maybe raise his yellow one back a little bit. Seems to be what the call is. Coming right up to it. I get curl a little bit more. It's good. It's gonna curl in the middle. Not too sure what the call was on that shot there from Nova Scotia. Does leave it open now. If for Nova Scotia, for PEI, sorry, to get right in between the two and try to eliminate the two if they do throw enough weight. But maybe when they notice they were on the yellow, might have wanted to sweep that, maybe bump it back and put some separation between the two yellow stones. But we're going to see now if Dalton will be able to do anything with this opportunity that was given to him. This one's really breaking quickly. Will they be able to hold it? Able to remove one yellow, roll over, and it's going to poke its head out the other side of the red yard. You can see about half of the red stone behind the... And Zacharnak will be looking to remove that red guard on top. Maybe run it back on an angle if he can to remove both of the stones. Coming on the angle. 1, 2, rolls the second one right into the middle though. It's not bad though. It's able to attack it later. It's up to Dalton here. Can he cover that one up? And will be a timeout here, taken by PEI over on Dalton's shot right here. Coach Dave McFadden not too happy with the call that was about to happen while standing. It's just usually pretty funny to see what the coaches will try to do to try and get their players' attention to call this timeout. So they're all the way down the other ice. Still about have 40 seconds left in this timeout. They're first at 2. Trying to figure out. They are setting 1 right now, but if that redstone does get removed, it could cause some trouble against them. Try to see what the call is. Looks like they're going to draw in, it looks like. Draw/guard. We'll see what Dalton's shot is here. They do have the hammer, though. In this end, down by 2. See if they can pick up their deuce and tie this game right back up. Coming right up to the yellow stone. It's going to freeze right on top of it. Bump it back just a tiny bit. And it's going to make that angle raise a little bit more difficult for Nova Scotia if they still are looking at it. But we have an update over on sheet number 4 in the men's action. Newfoundland was able to pick up deuce in 4, and they're now down 5-2 against New Brunswick over in the men's action there. A little bit of discussion here, not too sure on the angles because of that red one that was just thrown. Looks like they're just going to clear away the red and the yellow. Taking a look at it, clearing away some of the guards here. Could be, see what they come up with. Matthew Emanuel throwing a lot away, peel away here. See what happens. Moves everything around, and he is able to get everything. We have an empty house right now. And just everything just went boom. Best way to put it right there, clearing away 4 rocks. And we have a wide open house now for our PEI. Still has a guard to try and draw up to. But a great shot put in there for Manuel, shutting down any opportunity for PEI to get their deuce right now. Trying to draw in, trying to get this one hidden. This one will come in, sit in nicely, but it still will be open to attack. And Manuel with his final shot here in the 5th end for Nova Scotia. Just going to try and remove the redstone. Hope to stick around and see if he can force PEI to 1. Staying close, this one is really starting to break. Staying close. They are able to get it. Now where will it end up? Rolling to the middle. No problem right there. And it will just be a peel away on the final shot for PEI to force a blank. With the blank, PEI will hold on to the hammer going into 6. Whoa, out of his hand. A lot of weight being thrown. Getting on it now. And it's going to hit right onto the nose. So PEI will be able to pick up their single here in 5. Cut down the lead by 1. It's now 3-2 here at the Atlantic Under-18 Curling Championships here in Montague, PEI. Nova Scotia will retain the hammer here in 6. And we'll try to see if they can pick up a deuce to try and increase their lead. In this very tight game, been saying this quite a bit. Probably look to maybe have one big end here, just based on the way these two teams are playing. It's very fortunate they've all really been singles when they could have been two or more on the past ends. Look at Parker McFadden with this host PI team coming from the Silver Fox Club in Summerside to set up their central guard. This one has some weight to it, trying to curl it over, noticing it wasn't going to curl in the middle. See how far back they can take it. And it's going to be a tight guard. Is it counting, though? And take a look. And it might just be counting, just barely biting the 12-foot, so they are able to remove it. Nova Scotia wanting to keep that middle wide open. Cameron throwing some control away here. Again, the rock's running really straight right now. Will it come back in? And it's just going to narrowly miss it. That rock went straight the entire time. And it'll present an opportunity for Parker McFadden to add a central guard to try and get it right on top. Plug up the middle if they can. Giving him a little bit less ice. Noticing that his rocks aren't curling as much on that right side. So just going to give him less ice to hope to try to get it, most importantly, on that center line. A little bit outside the broom right now. Trying to see if they could come right up to their own red one and bump it back just a tiny bit. Get the tiniest of bumps, so we have two red stones right on top of each other. And Nova Scotia will be forced to just set up a corner guard. Not liking the call right now. Because they can't remove the top guard. They gotta remove they can remove the one behind it, but they can't remove the one on the top. That's the discussion right now. What should they do with those two red ones? They gotta make sure that the top red one doesn't spill out though. Showing some control away here. Again, it's running very straight once again. Might get a piece. It's going to get a piece of the top guard. Knock it into the rings. And the tone of the end is going towards PEI right now. And we'll have to see if Abraham can turn it around when his two shots come up. But we're going to have McDonald. That hasn't thrown many draws so far in this game. He's had to do a lot of takeouts, so we'll see if he has that draw weight down. Coming right up, bumping their own red one back just a tiny bit. Bumping right back into the middle. There's a slew of red rocks in here, but looking at the possibility of a double here with a lot of weight being thrown. And an update over on sheet number 4 in the men's action. Newfoundland was able to pick up 2 more. And they now are down by 1. And New Brunswick is 5-4 over in men's action on sheet number 4. And over on sheet number 2, Nova Scotia was able to pick up 2 against the host PEI team. They are now up 7-4. Up by 3 over there. Got 1. Able to get 2 over here. Shooter is rolling straight back. And we'll hang around the back 12. Not sure if the other red stone is counting on the corner. But the yellow stone has become the shot stone. So a good double throw there from Abraham. Hard coming out of the hands here. This one's really breaking. It's great job from the Supers holding the line. Looks like it's just going to peel away the Yellowstone and leave the house wide open. Nova Scotia has been able to turn it around after the first 2 shots. And we'll see if is that red one counting. Looks like, judging by the reaction, it is counting. They're going to look to remove it, hit and roll in behind that red guard in the middle. Coming out railing on the outside. Got to get to the inside of the rock. Move the red one. Get that roll over. Will the shooter roll out, though? And just caught it, just an edge, and it will leave an open house now. And has completely changed. Dalton will be looked to try and get his one buried between the single redstone left in play. Red Habs hand really starting to break quickly. This is going down right onto the guard. You might want to sweep it just so it does raise their own guard and doesn't over curl. Just gonna get the slight bump back. Will find himself in the ring, so might have to throw some heavy weight here to remove both redstones if that's what the goal is. So you're seeing Zajernak trying to come in. On the intern. Trying to remove both red stones. There goes 1, 2. And the shooter roll to the side. Great throw there from Zajernak. Opens up the entire middle of the ice. Looks like PEI is just going to try and draw one in the house. Looks like it's going to be a very open end between these two teams. We haven't seen almost any rocks in play between these two. It just seems like they will. If there are a couple rocks in, they both act right away to try and remove them. Don't want to fall behind. Don't want to cause any troubles for them. But when you're playing that takeout game, it can be very dangerous. If you do happen to miss that one shot, it could really change everything. Some laughs over. We always see what the coaches can always do to try and get their players' attention for the timeouts. The focus is quite intense on the players, and sometimes really hard to even notice. And we have a peel away of the redstone in the house, and McFadden's just going to point away right at Dalton. He's going to try and replay that shot. Down to the skip stones here. Alex McFadden, Dalton on the broom. Trying to just draw into a wide open house. Look and see if they can force a Nova Scotian miss, because we're on page for a blank here in 6, which PEI would be quite happy with, because they realistically want that hammer coming home. So if they can force Nova Scotia to 1 and 7, they would try to get that deuce and 8. Madden comes in, gets a piece of the 4 and right away. Manuel will point at the red walk. Again, this back and forth, it's going to come down if any of them are able to, if they just completely miss. That's the only way I can see any points being scored in this end. Manuel making sure he gets on it. Most important thing is the takeout here. No indication from their team yet. Nice and easy clean. We'll hit right onto the nose. A little bit of a slight roll to the left. And McFadden will just hit and stick to replace it as we wind down the 6th end here at the Under 18 Atlantics. As we have a finish over on sheet number 1, handshakes over there, as New Brunswick has defeated Newfoundland in sheet number 1 on the women's side. We will be seeing Newfoundland play tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here at the Montague Curling Club on this sheet 3, as they'll be taking on Prince Edward Island. So make sure to tune in for that one. Hit and the rollover right into the middle. So just be an easy peel away right down the middle for Manuel to try and blank this end here in 6. No, it's not blank weight. It's just hit and stick weight. And they are able to pick up the single here in 6, and they'll increase their lead one more, and they'll now lead 4-2 here at the Under 18 Atlantics here at the Montague Curling Club. Handing the hammer over to PEI. So ideally, Nova Scotia tries to hold PEI to a single or a deuce in 7 and going home with the hammer, just needing the single point to take the victory. This Nova Scotian team comes trying to see if they can pick up their 3rd win. They are currently 2-0 throughout the round robin so far. They'll be going against New Brunswick tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And the current host PEI team at 2-1 right now, trying to see if they can get a victory and solidify themselves in the finals tomorrow afternoon. Been a very tight game between these two teams, and anything could have happened. So it will come in, tight guard placed up on top. And right away, McFadden doesn't even move. He knows Parker knows what to do, and he'll set up that corner guard. So it might find its way into the rings. And it will. So it will be Nova Scotia going to try and do the hit and roll behind that guard that they throw first. To try and see if they can open up this middle now. As Nova Scotia trying to move that one redstone. And the leads really set the pace here. And we've seen some mistakes from both of them so far. But neither team has been able to capitalize on the rest of the end. Just due to the takeout game being very strong for both teams. Hard sweep to keep it online. There goes the hit and the roll. Nice rolling over. Very nicely played there by Cameron. Doesn't look like there is a way to be able to touch it. For PEI. Get it through. This one might just find its way in, right in through. Doesn't curl enough, and it's too hot. They try to go over the yellow one, and that just will find its way. Just biting the back 12. Just manages to find a way to stay in the game. But right away, Emmanuel will point right at it, and Abraham will just look to knock away that redstone. Not going to give PEI any opportunities to pick up more than one. And this end is Nova Scotia. Nice and easy on the sweep right now. Getting it right through, right on. No problems there. Hit and remove it away. So we still just have that one guard and the yellow rock sitting in right behind it for Nova Scotia. And McDonald might be looked at to knock away that guard. McDonald coming in with a lot of weight here. It's peel weight. Waiting for it to curl to the other side. We'll knock it away, just merely missing the double. And their own redstone will roll over to the left side. Still going to hang around and play, but won't be a factor just yet. And Abraham will be looking to draw over to the other side of the house. Get one over on the right side. Right out of his hand. Really having to take this one. This one seems light. Super's doing a great job putting whatever they have. Well, they get a piece of the paint here. And will come up light, however. And PEI does have a chance. Now, let's see. Will they go after the stone in the house? Will they try and draw him behind? Looks like they're going to try and draw him behind that yellow guard that was just thrown. They know they need more than one here, so a takeout of the Yellowstone, it just won't do it for them. So try and get as many rocks in play. This one is diving towards the guard. Can they get this one by? I don't think they will. And we'll bump back the yellow one. Yellow one might. It looks like it's on the paint. It looks like it is counting right now. And I just couldn't get it past the guard. The Chernock here looking to just knock away that red guard in the middle, clear away in the middle. Hard on the sweep here. Just peeling away. No problems right there. It looks like PEI will continue to see if they can try and get up to it. They want rocks in play. So it looks like they might be trying to get right up onto the Yellowstone. Onto the top 8 foot. So we'll look to Dalton here with this first of 2. Coming right up to it. Line seems pretty good. The weight, how is the weight here? We'll come up, give it a little bit of a bump. And just a tiny bit of bump is just enough for them to get that peel away, though. Over on sheet number 2 on the women's side, Nova Scotia was able to pick up a steal of 2 against the host PEI team, and they have extended their lead. Over there, it is now 9-4 over on the women's side for Nova Scotia. Trying to peel this one away. Gets the red one, avoids the yellow. Beautiful throw. And that's what happens when you have just that little separation. When you have top players like these guys right out here, they can make those shots. Trying to get this one right up onto the Yellowstone once again. Hard sweep here to keep this one on line. Vadian will try and get them to come up, help them out, try to get this one back into it. Come out just the tiniest bit light though. Good line though, not enough weight there. And we're gonna get up to the skip stones here. Be throwing peel away here for Manuel. He's gonna try and remove that red stone. Trying to get right up to it. Knocking the red. Will jam against their yellow in the house, but it does knock away the red, so at the end of the day, they're still sitting 2. At the top of the 12 area. That's what happens when those just seem to stick around there. Really start to get really annoying. And it will make it quite difficult now, as PEI will try to draw in behind that top 12 rock on the right side of your overhead screen. They're going to try and draw in behind. realizing he needs to pick up a deuce here or else they won't have a chance in 8. McFadden with his first of 2 shots in 7. This host PEI team comes from the Silver Fox Curling Club in Summerside. Trying to get this one through. This one's coming up light, though. PEI Super's really... you can start to see the effects from the last few shots. And it's just going to take the slight bump off the yellow one. And it will roll over for shot stone. But Nova Scotia's going to look to remove it. Rolling over. Try and sit 3. And put up some pressure on McFadden on his last shot. Big shot here for Manuel. He's got to get the hit. If he does miss it, though, gives a lifeline right back into PEI's hands. He's been calm, cool, and collected in his final shot here in 7. Right out of his hand, they're getting on it. Really hard right now, calling them off. Looking good. Able to get the hit and the roll. And roll right into the center. And that's going to force McFadden to play a hit and stick 4-1. Going against 3 Nova Scotian stones. And we're going to have handshakes over on sheet number 2 on the women's side. As Nova Scotia does take down the host PEI team over in the women's action on sheet number 2. Just the 2 men's actions left to go over here as New Brunswick did pick up a single in 6. They are now in the lead 6-4 over Newfoundland, and men's action over on sheet number 4. As you have the final shot here in 7. The Summerside squad trying to get a hit and stick 4-1. Not liking it out of his hands. Can they hold it? That's the question. Can they hold it? Did it find the hole? And it looks like it found the hole and it's going to go in right through. That's 1, 2, and it looks like 3 for Nova Scotia. And that will do it here at the Atlantic Under-18 Curling Championships here in Montague, PEI. As Nova Scotia picks up 3 in the 7th, and they will take the victory over the host PEI team. Come from Summerside. Great game, tight game. We were saying it's going to come down to that one end and the one mistake, and unfortunately it went against PEI's hands. But make sure you join us again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as we're going to have PEI going against Newfoundland in the women's action here at the Montague Curling Club. This has been a Bell Line Community One broadcast, your local leader in sports webcasting. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us.